See, our perception of God is like a king mostly, who sits on a chair and says, oh, you're a good guy. Okay, I give you a toffee. Another person, I beat you. Now, if you don't obey me, I'll kick you out. So God is not that kind of a structure. And there is no heaven and hell waiting for you. What is waiting for you is your own karma. And your existence in a physical body is connected to how much you want to experience from earth. There are two boundaries, birth and death. How you are is connected to what you are made up of, or what is your desire pattern. Basically, you are a slave of your pattern. So such patterns happen. A Hitler happens and a Krishna happens. Soul has no role in your life. Electricity has no interest in a light bulb or a washing machine. But if you pass it through television, it gives you picture. If you pass the electricity through light bulb, it gives you light. But electricity has nothing to do with any of this. Same like that, the soul never tells you which body it wants. It has no interest. When unit becomes ocean, when the drop becomes ocean, drop has no identity anymore. So God is that simple. In Sanatana Dharma, no God sits and creates. Brahma is the possibility of creation, Brahma's role. And many Prajapatis are called Brahma's children. They have unique creation, and their main thing was, just like we do Prana Pratishtha in temples, we make an idol, induce energy, and energy gets transmitted between 8 seconds to 40 seconds, and that communion is what we are looking at in the temples for the sake of transformation, rejuvenation, purification, etc. So no God sits down and creates anybody. What creates another body is the desire pattern. So it is not God which is sitting. God factor sits in you, which is your activating factor or the soul factor. So in us, our soul never told you whether to do something or not to do something, did you? There is an energy inside, but that energy never told you this is okay, this is not okay. Whatever you do, it activates you. Likewise, the entire universe is activated by a soul called God. We can call it God, we can call it supreme consciousness, anything you call, but there is an energy. That is exactly what Oppenheimer proved, right? Fission. If you dissect atom in a particular level, it gives raw energy. Same, if you conglomerate atom in a particular way, it creates matter. So matter dissected becomes raw energy, simply means raw energy conglomerated becomes matter. So this raw energy is God factor. God is not a human being, not like a sculptor or a painter or an architect. It's an essence. So that essence also sits in us. That essence doesn't create nor uncreates. And your existence in a physical body is connected to how much you want to experience from earth. There are two boundaries, birth and death. Within two boundaries, how you are is connected to what you are made up of, or what is your desire pattern. Basically, you are a slave of your pattern. So such patterns happen. A Hitler happens and a Krishna happens. And that also has a lot to do with collective consciousness. Collective consciousness means a group of people or a generation thinking in a particular way creates an event. The birth of Hitler is not because of father and mother. Hitler means that kind of a person. It's because of collective consciousness over time. Created that being. And he did what he has to do, and he left. Nobody stays. Likewise, when the world is really crying for redemption, Krishna said, Yatha yatha hi dharmasya glanir bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya. From adharma, from decay, I raise you to dharma. That for that sake, they happen. The same thing Satya Sai Baba said. What was his purpose? He said to raise the awareness, to raise the people to dharma. So those beings come with a particular purpose. Apart from that, everything is unattached, untouched. Soul has no role in your life. Electricity has no interest in a light bulb or a washing machine or a television. But if you pass it through television, it gives you picture. If you pass the electricity through light bulb, it gives you light. If you pass it through washing machine, it washes your clothes. But electricity has nothing to do with any of this. It has no interest. Okay, it never tells you, look here, I like a television better than your light. Same like that, the soul never tells you which body it wants. It has no interest. Petrol has no interest in your destination. Soul has that nature, completely neutral, completely open. It gives you life. And body or our life is a combination or a marriage between gross and the subtle. Gross is physical body, mind, intellect, ego. Subtle is whatever activates it. Shakti and Shiva, or spirit and soul. Shakti and spirit and soul comes into the body, you have life. When they leave the body, you have death. So this is very simple. Nobody is saying, nobody is carving or deciding your structure except your own desire patterns. So each body, when we take new bodies, this software is entered already when you take the body. The desire pattern decides the body, not even after. It tells, okay, you must take a body because you have all these desires. And that brings, and it has to do with the consciousness of the time. It has to do with your own desire patterns, your family lineage. Everything is connected, and it's like milk and water. You cannot separate them. You know, they're all together, and that produces a man or a woman or a bird or an animal. So everything is like that. There is the first level of creation probably had nothing to do with it. Means the Prajapatis, when they started creating, all the Prajapatis had the power to induce energy into body. That is how creations happen. Like we do Pranapadishta, similar method, similar structure, first level of creation. And please don't think that this is the only place they can create. This earth is now already this much old. There are other earths forming at certain times. There are different worlds, lokas happening, and each loka is a frequency or a multiple frequency like earth. Various types of frequency. Kailas has a frequency, London has another frequency, or different frequencies. And we connect to those frequencies which suits us. We cannot connect to a frequency which doesn't suit us. See, how many of you would have shifted houses because that house was not suitable? Why? Your frequency is not compatible to that house. But another person would say, oh, that's a good house. His frequency is compatible. All relationships, all places, all times are all connected to such frequencies. So God has nothing to do with us. God has no interest in us, basically. The God which we think as God. See, our perception of God is like a king, mostly, who sits on a chair and says, oh, you're a good guy. Okay, I give you a toffee. Another person, I beat you. Now, if you don't obey me, I'll kick you out. This is not God. God has, come on. It's so boring, you know. 8 billion people and you're watching how many people go to toilet. You'll get bored with this. You see. So God is not that kind of a structure. That's a wrong understanding. And there is no heaven and hell waiting for you. What is waiting for you is your own karma. Karma means unfulfilled desires. What you could not complete now, that waits for you and asks you to take another body. That's it. So let's understand God clearly. That's why I said God's nature, if you can ever say, is first of all unknowable, ununderstandable. It's vast than the vastness. And the created universe, they say, it's almost like a pimple on Shiva's face. Shiva is not a human being. Shiva's face means it's a very small aspect in the whole consciousness. Created universe, which is all the galaxies and all put together. It's very small compared to the size of the consciousness. And Earth is just like a pebble here. Not even a pebble, like an atom. Small ball. And in which human beings, still tinier. All we have in abundance is ego, nothing else. So we're trying to perceive the whole consciousness sitting here. So that's the nature of God. Unfathomable, you can't understand. When you become that, then you have nothing to say because you don't come back and tell what it is. You know, while you are perceiving it, you can have any kind of imagination, but when you dissolve into it, you are that. That's it. There's nothing else to say, nothing else to think because everything dissolves. When unit becomes ocean, when the drop becomes ocean, drop has no identity anymore. So God is that simple. So there is no, God is not saying, okay, Krishna, now you go. It's like a drama. Hitler, you go, you sort out these things, then I'll send somebody else. Then America joins, everybody joins, then attacks. This is not like that.